Their sisters were puppets of complex machinery. So fine was their construction that any who laid eyes upon them assumed they were human in every way. They were the embodiment of man's greatest technological achievements. They walked like humans, ate like humans, laughed like humans. The one thing they could not do, however, was shed tears, for they were not designed this way. Because their sisters were machines, they felt nothing. Oh, they might mourn as humans did, but they experienced no true sadness, for they did not know what sadness was. Even when their friends perished in tragic accidents and their creator died of disease, they felt nothing. To their sisters, all it meant was that those people no longer existed. It was a warm summer's day when a lone cat wandered into their home. It was a scrawny, filthy thing, riddled with disease. What a bother, their sisters thought, as they looked down at the wretched creature. But they fed it milk, wiped it clean, and kept it warm, and soon the cat was well again. From that day forth, it would linger wherever the sisters were, brushing against their legs when it wanted food. And if it caught a mouse, it would bring it back to boast of its prowess. If it wanted love, it would cry out to them in a mewling voice. It was a cold winter's day when the cat came into their house, let out a feeble squeak, and died. Time and time again did the younger sister shake the cat's body. Time and again did the elder sister call out to it, but the cat neither moved nor responded. In that moment, the sisters felt as though they felt something break deep inside their chests. And from that day forth, they truly felt nothing at all. The two sisters were a perfect pair of walking mannequins. In no way could you tell they were mechanical. State-of-the-art technology gave them the gift of life, of laughter, of joy, of satisfaction. But they could not cry. They were never meant to cry. Being mere dolls, they could be sad, but not feel sadness. Sadness was unknowable to them, even the death of a loved one. Even as their creator succumbed to disease, they felt nothing, as if their creator had just disappeared from the face of the earth. One warm spring day, a stray cat approached and greeted them, covered in scars, riddled with disease and thin as a rail. They took it in and cared for it. What a fuss! Their tender care rejuvenated it, and in time regained its health. From that day on, the cat became a fixture in their daily lives. Every day it would beg for food, for affection, and praise. What a fuss! Winter's cold blew into the house as it staggered in from outside. With a weak meow, the cat's strength slipped, and it fell limply to the floor. The younger sister shook it again and again. The elder sister called out for it again and again. But in the end, not a single cry, not a single response came. Something in the twins, something deep in their hearts broke. And from that day on, they felt nothing at all. Long, long ago, in a fair kingdom, there lived three brothers. The middle brother was a famous general who commanded a vast army. People everywhere were terrified of his troops, for they were the most violent indeed. This general loved to make war. He enjoyed nothing more than watching cities burn and corpses pile up, and he fought not to subjugate, but simply to destroy all he could. His well-trained soldiers laid waste to towns, cities, and even nations for the sake of their general. And as they hewed and hacked and chopped, the general would chuckle to himself the most vulgar tones. The army marched on and on. Nations by the sea, nations in the mountains, nations in the desert, nations in the tundra, nations to the east, nations to the west. The general cared not. He simply wished to watch it all burn. His orders were absolute, and years beyond counting, the soldiers killed and killed and killed and killed and killed and killed. After some time, the army arrived to a certain nation. They killed its soldiers, they killed its townspeople, they killed its princesses, they killed its princes and dukes, and bakers, and lawyers, and accountants and beggars and thieves. Eventually, a shabby general came pleading for his life with tears in his eyes, but they killed him as well. However, the soldiers thought he seemed familiar and tried to recall how they might have known him. In that moment, however, the general's daughter appeared. They became so engrossed in ending her life, they never thought about the matter again. Once upon a time, there were 3 brothers in a kingdom. The second of the 3 was a mighty general leading the army. The army was very violent and feared by everyone. The general loved wars. He liked seeing burning cities and rolling corpses. The general dedicated his life not to conquer, but to destroy. Soldiers trained like machines destroyed all the villages and the cities and the countries for the general. The mighty general saw that and laughed in a vulgar laugh. The army marched on. They destroyed the winter country, the eastern country, the southern country indiscriminately, obeying the absolute orders of the mighty general. For years and years, they killed and killed and killed and killed and killed and killed and killed. Eventually, the army reached a certain country. They pierced the people in the city, the armies, the princess, the prince, with their spears and killed them. In the end, a general begged for his life while crying, but he was killed right away. The general's face seemed familiar. The soldiers tried to remember, but the general's daughter appeared, and they were so absorbed in killing her and did not think about it again.